Hello, my beautiful spirits. So I wanted to check in with you guys because we are at the 30-day mark of our 60-day Indiegogo campaign to create a South Bronx mobile market and raise $15,000. And if you watch the video that we've already put up on the website and on YouTube, you will really get a sort of overview of why we're doing this project and what it's going to take to make this project happen. And so I wanted to come back to you because here we are, 30 days. I'm trying not to freak out, and I'm concerned though. We have not even hit the halfway mark, and we are halfway through it, and so I am feeling a bit frantic. And it's really given me a chance to think about why that's not happened. We've gotten a lot of traction. This project has been all over Facebook and all over Twitter. People from all over the country have reached out in terms of resources. We were on BBC, so people across the pond got to hear about us, and some even donated. Thank you to Alex in Glasgow, Scotland, it has been on WPIX 11 here in New York City. It has been on News 12 twice. It has been on Civil Eats on the internet. Gwis.org has picked it up. DNA Info was the first one to talk about it, and the Huntsman Express is doing a story about it. So it's gotten traction, it's gotten attention, and lots of people have told me how amazing it is to them to finally see something good about the Bronx. Not that Tanya had a bus and backed it over some 10-year-old kid, but Tanya's taking a bus and working with farmers to feed our 10-year-old kids. First, I want to say thank you to everyone that has donated. We have already had over 100 funders, and as I'm calling them, investors. And they have come from many walks of life, different socioeconomic statuses. I want to say thank you to everyone who has reached out to me or to, folks like Jalal and Ben who have wanted to help. I want to say thank you to Jalal and Ben, who are our farmers, who have really stepped up and done this work, driving the bus back and forth so the community can see it, donating the bus sort of in the very beginning, people who have posted this on Facebook, who continue to tweet it and talk about it, and who are literally calling their friends and saying, hey, listen, this amazing project is happening. It'd be really important to me if you would donate. And so I'm really curious as to why the actual momentum of the attention and goodwill that it's gotten has not matched up with the actual donating of dollars. And so I'm going to say some things that may not really be popular right now, but I kind of have that reputation, so forgive me. Now, down to the hard discussion. When I first wrote that TEDx Manhattan open letter, I had no idea that it was going to go viral the way that it did. I thought that I would write that letter and the choir would say amen, and then I would move on with my life. And instead what happened was that it really got traction. And I don't think that was because anybody was personally invested in me. I mean, there were some folks who were. But honestly, I think that really came from the fact that we in the food world in particular, and in social justice, but particularly the food world catching up with some of the conversation that's happening around social justice, really had been tilling the, pun intended, the soil to have these types of conversations. And we were talking about how do we do food and do it in a way that is anti-racist, and understanding that the food system in this country has never been fair, that it has been predicated and built upon the exploitation and the blood of indigenous people and East Asian people and and Africans, and that now that our current food system absolutely mirrors much of the racism and classism and discrepancies that we see in the world in general. And so when I wrote that letter, I think people latched onto it because they were ready to have this conversation. And I had put it out there and folks jumped on it. And the conversation on ComFood, on Facebook, on all of these different platforms really became broader than what happened between TEDx Manhattan and Tanya Fields. It became about what kind of table are we setting for this food justice thing that we're doing. And people really rallied around, and my life has changed tremendously because of it, in some positive ways and some ways that still have me thinking about what are the ramifications of that letter. And I really feel like when it came time for us to do this Indiegogo campaign, given the conversation around creating alternatives, supporting one another, not necessarily waiting for these sort of white normalized affluent spaces to support the work that we're doing right here on the ground, this was going to be easy. And that has not happened. I have found myself definitely bumping my head up against the wall, trying to figure out why we have not been able to raise the money in the same way that we were able to have this conversation. And I get it. People get overwhelmed. Everybody and their mama and their grandmama is doing an Indiegogo campaign. If they're not raising funds for medical expenses, they're doing a film. If they're not doing a film, they're doing some sort of workshop. But for me, $15,000 in all honesty is a drop in the bucket in regards to the amount of money that circulates between our communities. And so I don't want to have a conversation about TEDx Manhattan anymore. I don't necessarily even want to talk about anti-racist training until we can talk about more effective ways to support one another. Because here's the truth, guys. This is not just about the Bronx. This is not just about this project of the Black Project. I could give you a video where I played all of these different violin strings about the tremendous amount of sacrifices that I've made to do this work. But really at the core of this, what this is about how do we sustain each other? How do we find true solidarity? How do we build alternatives that are inclusive? This goes beyond the Bronx. There is nothing more revolutionary than being able to feed our babies. When you invest in this community, what you're investing in is the ability to say that we have the means to create something that is new and that includes us and it comes directly from the people. You are investing in the future of our children, creating a legacy for them that actualizes the best of their potential. You are investing in women like me who have many times felt like they didn't have a voice, who felt like they didn't have the means or the resources or the ability to actually change the world for themselves and for their children. You are investing in brighter options and brighter futures. This is what you're investing in. It goes beyond food. You're investing in the actual liberation of people in a community that hasn't really had a fair fight. And so we are standing up now. We are fighting. We are saying there is no more. You know, mainstream may not always talk about many of the fantastic things that come out of communities like ours, but those who work in communities like ours, who are allies of communities like ours, know that's not the truth. I live in a community where we have such a groundswell of young people coming out with innovative and artistic ideas. We have our folks who have been here when the Bronx was burning and helped to rebuild it, who were doing urban farming before urban farming became a thing, you know? And so we want to celebrate that. This project is a culmination of all of those things. And so yes, I feel deeply and personally tied to it, but I also know that it goes beyond me. And so I'm saying, don't just do this because you like Tanya. Don't do this because you like the Black Project. Do this because you are committed to creating a world that really defines justice. It's not just about equality, because equality says that we get the same chance, but it doesn't necessarily take into historical context and many of the obstacles and traumas that have faced us. I'm asking you to invest in justice, not just food justice, justice in general, because it is the power to feed ourselves, the ability to get back to our land that is going to help us to create all of these different things in this community that we need to see. And I don't believe that I'm the only person that can do that, but you are investing in a really important piece of that happening. So, what can you do to help us raise the $15,000 and meet our goal? Here's what you can do. If you've donated already, thank you. We appreciate you more than you ever know. But please, continue to tweet. Continue to Facebook it. Continue to write about it on your blogs. And do it from your own personal perspective. Talk to your folks and your networks as to why this is important. Talk about how it resonates with you deeply and personally and matches up with your principles and ideals. Do at least one tweet a day, one Facebook posting a week. Reach out to me to talk to me about how you can craft it for your blog. Continue to encourage other people to donate. Let's make this go as viral as that TEDx Manhattan open letter did. It's time to stop fighting against things and start fighting for some things. This is the way that we're going to be able to meet this goal. That's the best way that you can possibly help. And if you haven't donated, then donate. Every dollar counts. If you only got $1, look, the struggle is real. I understand. If you got $5, then donate $5. If you want me to come over and cook for you and you've got $1,000 and you want to donate, hey, please donate that $1,000. Reach out to other folks, foundations, people who you know have disposable income, who believe very much in social justice, who believe very deeply in food justice, and ask them to get involved. I'm here, I'm accessible, I can be reached, I can answer any questions that anyone has about this project. Look at other local market projects. There's Fresh Moves in Chicago, there's Capital Improvement District out in Albany, there's Arcadia Foods happening in May in DC. Look at those models and see how they work for folks. Yes, we know that we're up against tremendous obstacles, but nothing that's worth fighting for was ever easy.